Yes,
Brian,
sir. I'm here.
hey, what's going on, man?
Same old, man. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm good, man. Thanks for being on. And apologies. Uh, it's acting up on me. I clicked it, and all of a sudden it went to no answer. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
technology, man.
yeah, technology. So Brian is joining us right now. How do you pronounce your name? I'll mess it up.
Yeah, I get that a lot, man. My name is Stofko. It's a northern last name. I'm half Italian, half Irish. So a lot, pronouncing it, especially work.
Okay.
Stofko's Italian last name.
It must be the F that gets them caught off guard that they miss out of pronouncing. Stofko. Okay, people probably say Stoko or
Yeah.
Stofko. Okay, I got you.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
I've
I mean, as a wrestler, and you presenting yourself and the announcer announcing you, and at the end of the day, get the name right. If anything else wrong, get the name right. And
Oh yeah.
it
Um.
happens.
Oh yeah. Get him out there. Important things. Um. For me, I could have came up with maybe a different gimmick to come out to, but as it is, my last name is very unique, and there's probably a handful of Stofkos floating around somewhere, but the Carolinas, which is mainly where Carolinas, you don't hear Stofko, but probably the sort of north you go to, which is where I originated in Connecticut. You probably have my brothers and my father, but very unique, and I just felt just being uh, originality is the key in pro wrestling. Many guys out there that are doing everybody's things and trying to put their own twist on it, but you can actually see where it actually came from. With my name alone, I want to stand out. So that's why I just chose to use my real name.
You understand that for sure. The word originality, I feel like at this point it become more difficult for not just us, but for entertainers in general, because we've seen it all. We've seen it all firsthand, and it's hard to come up with something different or try to duplicate or whatever. What do you think is the biggest challenge for originality? Is it character? Is it the name? Is it the move set? Like, what do you think is the biggest challenge that wrestling tends to be dealing with?
Oh, brother, I think when it comes to that, I think everything plays a major factor. Even still for me, being in the business just for a little while now, you're always trying to come up with something that stands out, whether it be a logo or a catchphrase, for a move set, you want to come up with a good name for a move. You want to make sure that move isn't done 50-plus times on a show or during a match, because that's what you see right now a lot. Everybody's doing all these spots, and the internet right now is blowing up with a couple of posts that have done on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. But the whole key thing is just being original, thinking outside the box, putting your own twist on everything, and just for me mainly, I tell everybody the old school way. And a lot of people don't like the word old school, but study the history of professional wrestling. Study where it originally came from. Find out what worked then, and maybe turn around and do it now and see if it will work. Yeah, they're around all over the world. For example, here in the Carolinas, we can do chain wrestling all day long. Fans, you go to Johnson and the whole crowd is dead. They didn't come to see chain wrestling. They came to see a lot of high spots. They came to see, a ladder match. So you have different spots that you go to where you're performing that night in that town. And you already know in the back for what the crowd is going to, or what to do, how to prepare going into that town to make the show a lot better. So just being original is my only thing about it.
So do you think that the promoters, the bookers, or is it on the wrestler side, or is it both in general?
For me, it's 50-50 because if it's a good and they're running that town or that territory alone, they know right off the bat. If they ran shows there before, they know what works and what doesn't work. And they will reach out to a specific worker that can do all that. You know what I'm saying? So if they want a worker to wrestle in a ladder match, let's say, well, he's going to find two workers that can do a ladder match that night. If they want to see a technical match, and he's going to pinpoint, who's going to be doing what sort of thing. A lot of things, the shows that I'm right now, do women's matches, think that's over the top. Other people think that, we need more women's wrestling. And, the key word is wrestling. The advertisement for different promotions that have women wrestling on there, but it's not wrestling. It's more of an entertainment match. But original question, I think it's a 50-50 split. If the promoter knows what they're doing and how to run a show, then they book the right workers for that event, and even book a big name, even if you will, call it that. So the bookers or the promoter is in charge, but it's up to the worker to fulfill whatever the promoter is asking.
I got you. Definitely something that is like, no matter, a lot of good that's going on, and then there's always people that wants to disrespect the craft. Especially fans, like, and then back to the finale part, it does drive me nuts when whether I go to a show or indie show, or whether I watch a show on television, and for some reason you just see a super kick added to the show. Every other wrestler that I see has that move in their arsenal, and I get it. Shawn Michaels and others before him did the kick, and it was they made it their own, and I get it. People, they get inspired, they get influenced by these talents, but it just comes to a point when it's just like, see it, and it's like, I don't know, it's just out having to see that move almost every match. And there's so much talent. Like, I think some people don't even need that move. I don't think that.
Yeah.
I don't. It just don't fit the character that they're going for, or don't fit the move set or whatever. That's probably my biggest gripe as far as matches is concerned. But at the end of the day, it's about filling the seats.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I would say, for the whole thing, it's a lot different. But like, I'll give you an example by myself. For me, growing up, it's something that I've always dreamed about doing. Okay, I was born and raised in Norwalk, Connecticut. came up, from the north. I got my foot in the door. George South Train School in Charlotte. I trained with him. Trained with Lewis Moore down here in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. The big thing I can say is on TV. There's nothing more that they can get through their head. What they see on TV is what they think really happened, but they don't see the hours and hours and hours of sacrifice, training, some for a few months, some for years, in a wrestling. They don't see the hours and hours and hours in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get to travel the road in a rental car, drive hundreds of miles to make a town for $20 and a hot dog and a handshake. What gets me is fans, and I love fans. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. Okay, so they are the major part of the show, but we need, you got diehard fans out there, fans that love genre of wrestling, some hardcore, some high flying, cruiserweight, etc. But you have some guys that will go to a major promotion show on TV and spend countless dollars for a T-shirt, an autograph, a belt. You name it, they're going to buy it. But they go to an independent show and they complain about spending $10 to $15, even $20 on a ticket, let alone to buy, their favorite wrestler shirt for $20. And we as workers only make, a couple dollars off a shirt. This is how we make a living. We try to promote ourselves, try to invest in shirts and hats or, you name it, cups, whatever, to try to sell to the fans because, they love pro wrestling. You got some diehards that show up to every local show that you're going to be working in that territory. But, yeah, they don't want to spend the money to support you. But if it wasn't for independent wrestling and you're not supporting these guys, where are they going to go? Everybody from WWE or, the big name stuff have started on the independent scene unless they got their foot in the door by word of mouth, by some pretty well-known people. So support independent wrestling, man. It's one of the best things going right now. I'll put it up against any other sport because pro wrestling is the emotional roller coaster ride that you can't get with no other sport. It's like watching football. Everybody's got their teams, but what if one team's kicking the other team's ass, and you're already going to know the outcome of that game? If it's 4-7, and it's the fourth quarter, that the team's going to win. But pro wrestling, it's something very different. We tell a story. It's a dance, and it's artwork, and it needs to be respected. I love what I do. I love professional wrestling, and it's good for all ages.
I've been a wrestling fan since the early '90s, like pre-Attitude Era, and
yep.
I watch it religiously. I watch it every week. I watch ECW. I watched WCW, and then I watched Impact, and then I watched Ring of Honor. I've watched a variety of shows on television, and I've also have watched indie wrestling. And you're absolutely right when it comes to fans want to go to the pro shows and spend a lot of money, but they complain when they have to spend some amount of money over indie shows and autographs and things like that. And I'm like, all those people that you see on TV, where do you think they got started at?
Exactly.
Where do you think? It's not like they went straight to the pros right away. It took months and years,
man. I mean, it takes time to build your own brand, if you will, in pro wrestling. I mean, you don't just get your foot wet in the matter of a day or two, and sometimes, yes, it is all about who you know and who can get you what, but a lot of the workers, when you've been working for so long, you're pretty much earning the opportunity. You have other people that are in the business today that are buddies with the promoter, and they feel like they have to do favors for each other in order to get a championship run, or to be the main guy on that show. But if you work hard and you earn the fans and the promoter itself, and you give everything that you have, even though you're chasing down every opportunity that there is, you've earned it. Nobody can take that away from you. You earned that. Nothing was ever handed to you.
And before I let you go, Brian, why don't you go ahead and promote your company shows and work you out?
Yes, we have a show coming in on June 17th, Havelock, North Carolina Rec Center. I'm going to be in the Shockwave Live Wire tournament for a championship match. You can check me out on Facebook at Brian Stofko, Stofko. You can find me on Instagram as well, and I'll be up in all over North Carolina, some part of Florida, and hopefully I'll be wrestling in my hometown in Norwalk, Connecticut very soon. So just check back with me on my Facebook page. I look forward to seeing everybody there.
Great chatting with you, Brian, and
thank you, Kenny. I appreciate it, bro.
Thank you for being on. Continued success. Report to. You have a good night.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Have a good night.
Thank you, buddy. See you, buddy.
Bye-bye.